We chose to stay in Akihabara in Tokyo this time because we wanted to be close to all things anime and manga. The area we stayed in was pretty quiet, and you kinda have to cross this small bridge to get to the hotel from the station. The one thing that I appreciated a lot on this trip was eating at odd timings. We didn't really plan for it, but it kind of just happened because we were running around. Thankfully, most eateries in Japan operate throughout the day, so we were able to eat at popular places without queuing much, just like this roast beef don place. I have to say the way they decide to present the bowl is interesting. But other than that, the food was pretty good. The beef, the raw egg and the rice, and when you take a little of everything in a bite, it melts together perfectly. We also had ramen at this place in Akihabara. I really like the vibe here. It feels like you are getting the most authentic ramen experience. It being crowded with tiny tables and chairs. Shops like these tend to be designed to squeeze in as many people as possible, and it is not meant to be too comfortable. It does make you feel like you need to quickly down your noodles and get out of here. While the broth of this ramen brought me to Flavor Town, it also drowned me in the Dead Sea. I usually like to finish my broth, but this ramen was so salty that I couldn't really drink beyond the first few spoonfuls. I wouldn't dismiss this place just yet. It could be just the mentaiko that I decided to mix it in. And perhaps you were never meant to drink too much of the ramen broth anyway. Upon reflection, I should probably stop trying to finish my broth every time I eat ramen. This is so shaky. Good morning, Tokyo! Someone's behind. We are at Akihabara. This is where we stay. We're staying in this building, I think. And we're heading to Ohno right now, to museum. And then we're going to, what is it called? A shrine. So. The Tokyo National Museum is located at Ohno Park. The museum is huge and you can easily spend a day exploring it. I've always found Japan's history fascinating. There are spaces here dedicated to show what their day-to-day life was like. Walking through spaces like this really makes me think about the lives that people lived in those periods of time. And it was interesting to observe how some of these traditions have been passed down and how it affects the behavior of Japanese people today. I also learned that people used to make or buy this thing called netsuke. They are these small figurines that people attach to their pouches via a string so that they can hang them on their sashes of their kimono. But as the kimono became less of a day-to-day wear, netsuke too slowly fell out of fashion. But it made me wonder if gachapon is so popular in Japan because the Japanese have always liked to own small cute figurines. If you are interested or want to learn more about Japanese history, I do highly recommend coming here. And while you are here in Ohno, you can also take some time to explore the park. There are a couple of shrines around here which are pretty nice and accessible. We went to an okonomiyaki restaurant near Ohno station. It was located below the train tracks, so you can literally feel the place vibrate whenever a train goes past. The place reminds me of the ramen shop we went to. It's quite cramped and it doesn't feel comfortable enough to make you want to sit and chill here for too long. We started with an egg dish, which I believe came for free when you order your okonomiyaki. This meal is definitely on the greasier side, but I did enjoy it. Your hair will probably smell like the restaurant when you leave, but you know, it's not a problem I had to deal with. This was one of the days we woke up and left our hotel a bit earlier. We have onigiri at this small shop house that's located beside the Akihabara station. It's amazing how starting the day with a warm onigiri in your hands and a hot bowl of miso soup can make you feel on a cold winter morning. The first place we headed to was Shimokitazawa. There are a lot of thrift stores here where you can find many second-hand goods. Japan has a thriving second-hand goods market, and if you take the time to browse and look around, you can often find stuff which are still in very good condition and at a fraction of the price. Get the sense that Japanese are somewhat obsessed with the idea of perfection, and hence when something has a small defect, its value drops significantly. Sadly for me, I couldn't really buy anything. The average body and shoe size of a Japanese male is too small for me. Yvette, on the other hand, had a blast buying bags and accessories. While the rain was kind of a downer, it did lead us to this cafe. We had lunch and I really enjoyed the curry rice. It was a lovely and simple place to have a cup of joe and to rest after running around in this area. This was my first time visiting Starbucks Reserve Roastery Tokyo, which is located at Nakameguro. I'm kind of a Starbucks whore myself, even though I may not drink their coffee that often these days. But what I can say is that this place feels like a theme park. There used to be a long queue outside the cafe, but I guess the hype has kind of died down. And also probably because this place is huge, and I think it could easily seat over 200 to 300 people. The first level is their main cafe space. You can hear these lovely sounds of coffee beans running through these pipes hanging over your head. I believe they are transferring the freshly roasted beans to the storage containers. You also can see these beautiful pastries on display, which you wouldn't get in a usual Starbucks cafe. And of course, they have a giant merch store with a lot of stuff that you can only buy here. I'm a sucker for their merch, and if you're asking me why do I need another Starbucks cup, I would say, I don't know. Help me. Level 2 is a dedicated space for Teavana, which is their tea brand. Now, I don't really care about their tea, but I think they nailed the aesthetic part of it. They have some of their tea specific merch here as well, and I can see myself getting into it if I'm into tea. And can we just take some time to appreciate the walls? At level 2, you are greeted with this textured wall, which is basically a motif arrangement of their Teavana cups. And when you go to level 3, the walls are now decorated with cards, which come with any drink you order. And this also kind of shows off their huge menu of drinks. The level 3 space is designed like a bar, and they do have some drinks that make you feel like you're in a bar. And finally, level 4 is their lounge, and this is the only level which you can't order any drinks or food. But you can order them at the lower levels and bring them up. Every level has a nice outdoor space as well, but it's winter, it just rained, so... Jesus Christ, my god. I got myself the whiskey barrel aged coffee. It is topped with mascarpone cream and it tastes a lot like Baileys mixed with coffee. Yvette had the matcha soda float, which is inspired by a traditional kisaten drink. So, if you're a fellow Starbucks whore, come down to the Roastery. I promise you that you will not regret it. We decided to walk to Shibuya from Nakameguro. It was about a 20-minute walk and it was really interesting to see how our path gradually got crowded as we got closer to Shibuya. We just kind of chilled there, did some shopping and called it a night. We plan to visit Ikebukuro the next day, but that's a story for the next part. Thanks for watching and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!